Hola, bom dia, soy Nico.
Clock it. You waited till we left. Clock it. Snuck in here. Clock it. Went through our stuff. Clock it. Stole the phone. Clock it. Downloaded the Text Now app. Clock it. Made a number. Clock it. Text whoever you wanted to text. Clock it. Deleted it. Clock it. Then they called the next day. Clock it. Like, come on, bro. Don't make it.
And today I am coming to you live from Brazil. Nico, I'm getting my little tan in. It's humid, so my hair is a mess and it's growing out, and all the barbers are apparently closed because it's Brotherly Love Day or whatever the they call New Year's Day. Nico, I Ubered back to back to 4 different barbers, and they're all closed because nobody wants to work. But that's not what you're here for. Editing Nico here. If you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, weekly live streams, and to be a part of the live streams where we have multifaceted conversations on various topics. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. And last video's comment. Some of these adult content creators actually need a lot of help. And I agree, because first and foremost, Mr. Bolden was in the comments of my videos threatening to shoot me. Nico, threatening to like pow me. So he definitely needs some help, but I also feel like it's because they're amplified on this platform, or any platform in general. They get a following, their head gets a little big, and they begin to spout rhetoric that would not be normal outside of a field where social desirability is your main focal point. Because a lot of people in the comments, mostly his friends that were saying, I know him personally, as Black people, we need to stop spouting anti-Black rhetoric. I feel like this is the perfect video to have this conversation in. I don't care if you are Black. I don't care if you are biracial. I don't care if you are mixed race or quadrum. I do not care. Do not spout anti-Black rhetoric, especially on an online platform where other people will have to see it. Because if you're saying, oh, I don't want to deal with people that have super ethnic features or really dark skin as a Black person, when your fan base is filled with Black people, it is going to make them feel bad about themselves. I understand that you might be a lighter brown, you might be mixed race, and you feel like you're above it. You are Black. To some degree, you have Black in you. I'm not one of those people that forces Blackness on biracials because they're biracial, but you have Black in you. So to demonize Black features to try to elevate yourself or appeal to a different demographic, especially when he was also tap dancing for like Republicans, like it's infuriating. Point is, I don't care if he threatens to shoot me. I will file a police report. I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm gonna catch you outside, girl, you will go to jail. But I do not agree with spouting anti-Black rhetoric. I was actually going to do a quick little long format video for you guys, but I'm watching this video and I want to say a lot more, but I'm literally on vacation and my friends are waiting for me. But I'm just gonna start tackling what I do know so far. So this boy has been going viral for the past few days because originally he came online to discuss how he felt undesirable. He felt like he was ugly and that he was being overlooked because he would be on the apps and he would consistently reach out to people and they would just ignore him. And finally he did the pick me question of, am I ugly, to a guy that ignored him. He's like, no, you're not ugly, you're just not my type. Normally I don't ever advise anybody, if you ever have like a crush on someone, to go, am I ugly, when they turn you down, because that is such like tragic energy. Like that is so, like, it's a sad puppy and then you gotta kick the puppy because you're like, you're not my type, but you're not ugly. I don't like using the term ugly in general because people can't help the way they look. It's just why would you ask somebody, am I unattractive, if they ignore you? That's just something that's like a pet peeve of mine because it's just so sad to see. So I was originally feeling sad for him. You know, I felt bad for him. I didn't understand why everybody was dragging him. And then as the video continued to go on, he basically was like, yeah, and the thing is, I just don't understand why they don't want me. You know, my type is usually like Mexican N-words and white people. And, you know, I immediately paused the video because I'm like, what do you mean Mexican N-words? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. So he's basically going into detail about how he's so into white men and he's so into Mexican men because Mexican men are hard workers and they're providers, and white men, they're just so beautiful to me and I just don't find Black people attractive. So then I understood and it became full circle because they begin to light him up. Because I'm one of those people that's sitting here like, y'all know, I'm not a homotep. I'm not pro swirl. I'm one of those people that's like, if you're not being appreciated, then find somewhere where you're being appreciated. So that's why when femme men date out, I don't necessarily blame them or harp on them because femininity within the Black community is not deemed as desirable. So in this situation, my brain began to itch because he continued to go on and say that he doesn't hate himself or the way he looks. It's just that he has so much chocolate already. He wants to spread the love and he don't need no more chocolate on him. And I'm just sitting here like, so you're actively saying that you're choosing to go after people that do not want you and ignore your own community because you're not attracted to them. And he then came back and said, well, this isn't a self-hate situation. You know, I actually love myself a lot. I'm just not attracted to Black men like that. And even when I did slide in their DMs, they would ignore me. But then he later on tried to clarify. There's a lot in the story. It's like 20 minutes worth of video. So I just gave you a brief synopsis and then I'll come back with the rest of what I want to say because I don't want to go in on him. Once again, I'm not one of those people that's like a homotep, as in like you have to be with Black people, you have to only date Black people. But my main belief is if you don't want to date your own race, why are you upset that other races don't want to date you? That's how I approach all of these situations. When people are like, oh, Latinos don't want me, oh, white people don't want me. Do you like Black people? Well, they're not my preferred. I don't really want to pick them. Then why do you expect another race to see the value in you when you don't see it in yourself? Because he said he doesn't have self-hate, but then he later on goes to say, well, actually, I do have self-esteem issues and I'm actively working on that, but that's besides the point. And I'm just like, oh, it's making my brain itch. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you play the video and then I'll be back to finish off my closing statements.
Grindr has fucked me up so bad to the point where I can't help but to ask myself, am I ugly? I must be fucking ugly because the standards on this fucking app and on Sniffies, I don't even know which one is worse, but they give two different vibes. But at this point, the way both of them are working in my life, in my situation, is making me question like, I'm ugly. I had to ask this boy who rejected me, even though we were both bottoms. And at this point, I was just wondering, I'm like, you know what? Let's just do something. But I had to ask him, and he was just like, you're absolutely not ugly, but you're just not my type. And I'm like, I totally understand that. Like, I get it if I'm not your type physically, but this shit is making me question, like, because I think I'm a pretty fine man. I think I'm pretty good looking. I've seen a lot worse, no offense, but like, it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? And why is it so toxic over there? Like, what are you looking for? What has porn done to you people? Porn has fucked me up too, but not that fucking bad. I be having to lower my standards sometimes too, but shit. Hello? It makes me so fucking sad. But I can't allow that shit to like make me feel ugly because I'm not ugly. Are you seeing this? I don't even have a haircut. But yeah, it's just really sad and I'm tired of being single and I'm super and like doing it to yourself just isn't the same, you know? Like it's not, I love physical contact. I love feeling like touching and like making out, like, oh. And you know what? A toy just doesn't do all of that, sadly. So yeah, I need it and I need it bad. Okay, first of all, thank you very much. And you are also cute yourself. You're very pretty. I looked on your page. And what you're saying is I need to create my own account. Create my own app for Blacks or just people of color where we can like ourselves. But here's the thing, even if I were to do that, it would still be some shit. Like it would still be some shit because gay people have this stigma, or I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to word it, where it's like, we want a certain type of body. We want a certain type of like aesthetic. Even me, I'm even realizing sometimes I could be hella like shallow with the type of niggas that I want, but I have to look in the mirror and just be like, okay, you don't like it when they do it to you, so you have to stop doing it to yourself. But yeah, what you're saying is I should need to come up with an app so we can all be happy, we can all get along, and we can love on ourselves. Even though my type is kind of like Mexican and white, I'm really not into. I just feel like as a black person, I already have so much chocolate, I already have so much nigga in me. I want to spread the love, you know? Like, I want to spread the nigger tree, the melanin. And I just feel like another reason why I'm not crazy into black guys is because there's also this like trauma from black men. I don't know how to explain it, where it's just like, it's hard to believe that a black man is like gay, you know? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say. My thing about this whole preference comment is just like, because I say, oh, I like Mexicans are my type, or like white people are my type, that means I lack self-love. That means I don't like being black. I don't understand. Can someone please like explain that to me? Because I don't like, maybe I'm missing something. Because, okay, if I were to say, oh, my type is Indians, that means I don't like black people? Like, I don't like being black because I want to be with an Indian person? What about if I just really like fucking Indian food? What about if I just really think Indian people are beautiful? Or Asian people? Or white people? Or blue people? Or green people? What does that have to do with me not liking me? Hello? So because I'm black, I can only be with a black person? Do y'all know how you sound? You sound stupid. And I'm not talking about you necessarily, but the people who are dragging me because I say, and here's the thing, I probably shouldn't have used the word prefer, because if you use the word prefer, it's like, oh, I have something against like towards black men. And that's not the case. I'm Nigerian, right? And I'm out of the closet. I'm gay and I'm Nigerian. There are not a lot of gay African kids or people that are my age, 25, that are openly gay. So if you were to ask me, do I ever see myself with an African Nigerian man? Absolutely not. Because I know it's not common for us to be out here. But if you were to see a 6'+", dark-skinned Yoruba demon, well, no demon, but a Yoruba man, give me a call. Until then, I'm not gonna go out of my way to look for him. I have been on Grindr and I have slid under black people's DMs, black guys. I have messaged black guys and it's still the same thing. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really fucking matter. Just because I like a blue person, a red person, a white person, a black person, an Asian person, an Indian person, does not mean I don't like me being black. And does not mean I dislike black people even less. What I will say is I can't stand the thought process behind that when it comes to black people. Because I'm black, you can only be with a black person. Dummy. And I'm not talking about you. I'm sorry, I really tried not to be like angry about this, but like, it just like, I'm not even angry, it's just like, ew, like, why? And you have me thinking like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with me. You know, like, why can't I just like other black guys? Like, why do I like what I like, and I can't apologize for that. Like, it's crazy. Like, this whole thing is crazy. I was just expressing myself, like saying how I felt, like just being me. And like, people are putting me on Twitter and like blasting me on, like calling me ugly. And at first I was kind of heated. At first I was like, oh, like this is crazy. Like I shouldn't have ever said anything. Like, but then again, I'm like, you know what? I did say I want to be an influencer. And this comes with it. So I just use this as kind of like a test, you know, to see if I can handle it. Because before you get what you want from God, God is going to put you through the test. And I think this is the test, because this is my spam. This is not my main thing. And I post on here because, like I said, I just want to express myself. I wasn't expecting that video to do numbers. I can see why the video looks like it's pick me. I can definitely see that. But as someone who really doesn't have friends, sometimes I don't want to say I need attention, but sometimes it's nice to feel heard. I need somewhere where I can go and express myself, express my thoughts without like, if I don't even know how to just explain it. Like if I don't, I feel like I would lose my mind. So I just need a place where I can go to express myself without feeling judgment. Even though I know you can't come on social media without feeling judgment, I just feel like it's kind of like a risk I'm willing to take. It's something that I know I can handle, even though when stuff like this happens, it makes me question like, okay, why the fuck do I want this? I don't want to go through this. But when I think about Beyonce Beyonce does nothing but sit pretty, make good music, give a bomb-ass performance, stay out the way, and niggas still hate her. So at the end of the day, people will hate you just because they can. And that's just something I have to be okay with and just not give a fuck. You know, so like, I'm sorry I had to use your comment to make this video. I'm still probably gonna make another one, but I just really was confused on why can't I just like, and it has nothing to do with hatred towards black people. I can be with the black man. I have no issue being with the black man. If you find the black man, send him my way, and I gotta be attracted to him, so just don't be sending anything my way, okay? Because we still got standards. But yeah, I'm not against being with the black guy. That's just not my first choice. And I don't think I'm sorry for that, so. And then on top of that, people were making fun of me because they say the way I talk, and they're like, oh, of course that's his preference. Look at how he talks. How do I talk? Like a white person? Okay, you just sound stupid because now you're saying only white people can talk proper, or like black people who don't talk. Like, what are you even trying to say? Like, that doesn't make sense. I understand where you're coming from, but it's still like pretty ignorant for you as well. Not you, but you know what I'm saying. Whoever is commenting that stuff. I will say there is a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of because I'm still working on myself. I have dealt with internal homophobia and internal racism towards myself, and I am working on myself. Like, people were like, oh yeah, you need to turn inwards and do a lot of self-love and self-healing. Bitch, I know. And you know what self-healing looks like and self-love looks like? It looks like coming online, speaking your truth, being vulnerable, and saying what you have to say, and not worrying about what people are gonna say about it. And even if you are worried about what people are gonna say about it, you're gonna be confident enough to do it anyway. That's what self-love looks like to me. Why you in my shit? But yeah, like, I'm still working on myself every single day, but I love being black. I'm actually Nigerian. Like, I'm the black. I mean, I don't want to take it there. Please. I'm Nigerian. I love being Nigerian. Afrobeats down. What are you talking about? Clock that. Why y'all trying to come for me? Why y'all putting me in Twitter beef? Like, I'm not with that. Like, I wish I would have went viral for something more positive, but at the end of the day, like, if this is where we are at, this is where we're at, and we're just gonna milk that shit. What?
And then he had the nerve to come back and be like, now I understand because I wanted to be an influencer, but if Beyonce can just exist and get dragged, then I understand that I can handle this and overcome. And I'm just sitting here like, first and foremost, Beyonce is very pro-black. The reason she gets dragged is that she's very pro-black. Beyonce has always been targeted because she is a black woman in the mainstream media, and she has always been at the top of the game. So the fact that you tried to say, me getting dragged for saying I don't like the people that look like me, but I expect other people to like the people that look like me, is the same as Beyonce being black excellence and getting attacked for being black excellence, that angered me. That angered me. Nico, you know I'm very pro-hive. I don't play about Beyonce, so don't even... The fact that you fixed your lips on Beyonce's internet to compare her situation to yours when this is self-inflicted. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Back to the video.
Okay, so we are going viral on Twitter, and I would just like to give a shout out to whoever posted me. I really appreciate it. At first, I was hella bothered. I was like kind of sad and like flustered. I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't trying to be rude. I wasn't trying to be ignorant. Like, I was just expressing myself, being authentic, being vulnerable. Why is this happening? And the comments were like calling me ugly and like, I don't know, I was just like overwhelmed, you know? But then I took a step back because we are practicing awareness, self-awareness, and we are not reacting, we are responding. And thank you, because you're just helping me build resilience, strength, because I asked God, I want to be an influencer, you know, like I want to make people laugh, I want to bring joy to people's day, I want to be expressive, I want to express myself and be vulnerable on social media, whatever, that's what I want to do. And so I feel like when you ask God for shit, God is going to put you through the test. Because when I was making that video, I was not expecting it to go as viral as it did. It was just something I was just, this is my spam, you know? So I wasn't really like putting anything, you know, putting a lot of thought into it. I was just like, oh, whatever, let me just put up these manic fucking videos, and as long as it's not in my head and it's somewhere else, that's fine. But I woke up and I see that you posted me on Twitter. Thank you. Now, I will say that video, watching it back, was a little pick me when I was calling myself ugly, because a lot of people under the Twitter video were like calling me ugly, da da da. Pause. I said I know I'm not ugly. Grindr has the power to make you question whether you are attractive or not. That's what I was saying. But in the video, I made it very clear that I know I'm not ugly. And y'all in the comments, y'all can't make me feel like I'm ugly, because I know I'm not. So I know how that video can look. It looks very pick me, even for me. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I really did not need to like make it sound like that. But I was being vulnerable. Like, you can't make me feel bad for that. Like, I was being vulnerable. That's how I felt. I don't have a lot of friends right now. I don't have a lot of friends in general. And like, my issues with my family, like, that's not really important. But I don't really have a lot of people to express myself to. And even if I did, I feel like I like expressing myself on social media. I like posting videos. I like this interaction. It's very natural to me. It comes easy, not for a lot of people, but it is to me. So sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I can't come on social media and like seek for validation. I really would like to stop doing that, because I feel like even if I'm seeking positive validation, I shouldn't care whether it's positive or negative. I should just be neutral. If you want to give me a compliment, you give me a compliment. But just because you don't give me a compliment doesn't mean I'm gonna hate myself. So I just feel like when it comes to that aspect of being social media, I can be more aware and just be like, okay, I'm clearly just needing attention right now, but we are human. We are not meant to be alone. We need community. And I feel like it's easy for me, or I feel like it would be easier for me to build community on like a social media or whatever the case may be. That's just me. So like, yeah, I can see why, but I can't apologize for that, because one, it wasn't intentional for people to sit there and be like, oh, you look good, you look good. At some point, I was even annoyed. I'm like, please stop telling me I look good. I know I look good. Like, you don't have to keep telling me, like, it's enough. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was replying to as many people as I could, like telling them like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm like, okay, girl, like, I get it. I know I look good, right? But it is what it is, and I'm still grateful. Moving on. What was the other? My preference. I shouldn't have probably said I preferred to be with white and Mexican, but at the same time, it's kind of like, that's what I like. Like, I like Mexican niggas. Like, I like Mexicans. They are hardworking, loyal. They care about family, very family oriented. I like Mexicans, okay? White people, that one, I don't know. I just do, right? Unless like I'm thinking about racism and like I have a man who's white and I watch like The Help, we probably might not have sexual intercourse for like a week, because I'm probably gonna be upset about it when I think about it. But like, I don't really, and I don't feel like I owe anyone an explanation, because I'm over here trying to explain myself. It's like, bitch, I don't need to explain to you why I like what I like. And just because I like what I like doesn't mean if I were to see a cute black man, I'm not gonna shoot my shot, because even on Grindr, I shoot my shot at black men and they still reject me. Because guess what? They too be looking for the whiteys. They too be looking for the Mexicans. Hello? So I don't sit there and be like, oh, in fact, I'm like, I get it, I understand, right? So I don't need to sit here and explain, just because I don't chase black men doesn't mean I don't like being black. That's another, like, people were making it seem like, oh, because I don't like, or I don't go after black men, I don't like being black, I don't like myself. I am Nigerian. I am as black as they fucking come, from the motherland. I love myself. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did face a lot of internal homophobia and internal racism towards myself, but I'm working through that. I'm loving myself more. I'm trying to love myself more every day. And this is why I'm so grateful for today, because it's only making me stronger. Okay? What it sounds like you guys are saying is because I'm black, I can only be with a black person. And that's just stupid. Just because I'm black does not mean I can only be with a black person. And just because I sound proper doesn't mean I'm trying to be a white person. People were like, oh, of course he likes white people. Look at how he sounds. How do I sound? How do I talk? I grew up in Bakersfield, California. I went to high school in Bakersfield, California. I lived in the Southwest. I don't know. Like, I don't really understand what y'all mean by that, but I digress. Okay, sorry. I had to switch locations because my roommates had came home. If you were to ask me, oh, do you see yourself with a Nigerian man? I would say no. Not because I don't want to be with a Nigerian man or I have something against being with a Nigerian man, but that's just not common. You know, like I am one of one. I'm sure there are others out there. I know there are others out there who are openly out of the closet. But please, if you find a 6'+ Nigerian Yoruba man, give me a holla as long as I find him attractive. If not, I'm not going to go out of my way to find one. I could be with an Asian, an Indian, a black, a green, a blue, a white, a yellow. I could be with any of them as long as I find them attractive and they make me laugh, they make me feel safe, they make me feel good, they make me feel love. Okay, at the end of the day, all I just want is love and I don't really care the color. So y'all sitting here and y'all are picking, oh, he's a black people. Y'all don't even like black people. Do you see how y'all are treating a black person? Instead of you guys to be like, oh babe, I understand, or maybe you don't understand, but there's a way you can say something to someone, and I've learned from my mistakes, it's not what you say, it's how you're saying it. So you're sitting here attacking me because my preference, this response, this situation that I'm in right now, isn't it enough to be like, okay, see, this is why I don't like black people? Or, sorry, not like that, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, this is enough to be like, okay, y'all are kind of like even making me more afraid because y'all are attacking me instead of like trying to correct me. Y'all don't even like, y'all, you see how black people treat Beyonce? Like, y'all don't even like black people. Women are always complaining about how they feel about heterosexual black men. Hello? But because I say it, I don't even want to say because I say it, but like anyone could have said it and it would have been an issue, but that doesn't make it okay. You know, like we are all imperfect. Maybe I could have said things a lot better, but I do not have anything against black men. I just want to be in a relationship with a Mexican man. I just really like Mexican men. I don't care. You can't make me feel any way about it. I said what I said. I like niggas, but I like Mexicans too. And I like whiteys on sometimes, some days. I like white men. Sometimes I don't, okay? Sometimes I remember, and I'm not really fucking with it. But sometimes I walk across a beautiful white man, and I'm like, ooh, let me share some of this chocolate. Because you know what white people want to do? They want to keep white and white together so they make more white. But if you put chocolate and white, you make light skin, which is white and black. But at least there is black. So at the end of the day, we are all getting some. If it's black and Mexican, is some black in there. So I am sharing the chocolate, the melanin, the love, while y'all are spreading the hate. Anyway, thank you so much if you made it. This was a 10-minute video, but I really needed to say what I needed to say because people were trying me today. But like I said, I just use this as, I don't know, some type of like energy, some practice. This is just a practice round because I'm sure I'm gonna say more things that people aren't gonna agree with. But I just, if I say it wrong, if I say something that is intentionally hurtful, even if it's not intentionally hurtful, be okay with apologizing. But at the same time, if I say something, I need to be able to believe in myself enough to stand 10 toes down on what I am saying. Okay? But thank you guys so much. And I'm sorry for the long video. Love you. And to whoever posted that, God bless you. Trying to break a bitch spirit. So devilish.
Now, after finishing the video, I will say I do want to add credibility to him saying that the apps do have the ability and power to make you feel undesirable. And that is the truth. You know, when it comes to gay dating apps or gay hookup apps, because that's what it really boils down to, especially like Grindr or Sniffies, it has the power to make you feel undesirable because you're actively trying to connect with somebody on a strictly physical level. And if they are not interested, they can say no, they can ignore you. Some will block you as soon as you message them. They can be very rude and nasty unnecessarily to make themselves feel better by putting you down. So I will say that is the truth. So if you are on apps and you are not in a good headspace, I would recommend taking a break and or getting off of them. I haven't been on apps in over a year, if I'm being quite honest. Over 2, since I got banned off of Jack. Nico, once I was like, oh, so I can't be with a black man or ad, I don't want to be on any apps. And the reason I got banned is because I don't respond to people if I'm not interested, just because I don't want to have to go through the process of somebody saying, why don't you want to be with me? Do you think I'm ugly? Because I don't like hurting people's feelings. Some people have told me it would just be better to be like, I'm not interested. But when I've told people that, they'll hit me with the why. And then I have to explain why I'm not interested in them. And it's very awkward. But I will say, point is, I don't respond. So they thought I was a catfish. So I got banned. So I do understand. But I would say, if you are only targeting a demographic that is historically anti-Black as a Black person, because he wanted to specify that he's Nigerian and a proud Nigerian man, and if you ever find a Yoruba demon, and he clarified that because that's a signifier, like, oh, Black man evil, you know, he tried to clarify that. Point is, he was like, if there's a Black man that is interested in me, send him my way, but make sure that he's up to like a certain quality because I have standards. And I wanted to also bring that up. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place because I just took pre-workout. But he was like, oh, I have standards. But when it came to white and Mexican men, he said, oh, I actively lower my standards whenever I'm going after them so that I can find somebody that's interested. But when it comes to a Black person, he needed his standards to be met. That is something I don't appreciate as well. So once again, if you are targeting demographics that are historically anti-Black within their society, because the world is anti-Black, if we're being quite honest, I'm not going to feel bad for you that you feel lesser than because as a Black person, you don't like Black people. Once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, you cannot expect people to like your race if you actively are shitting on and do not like your race. It's never going to happen, and you're going to be upset with yourself at the end of the day because, like he said, he feels lonely. He feels undesirable. He knows he's attractive, but it's just the fact that he's consistently being told by white and Mexican men that they don't want him that's lowering his self-esteem. Also, he was talking about being vulnerable online and how he doesn't have any friends and he's not close to his family. My thing is, do not come on the internet expecting to be vulnerable with a positive reaction. No matter what you say, somebody's always going to be upset, but especially with inflammatory conversations like this, it's not going to end well for you. And I genuinely feel like this is mostly exacerbated by him not having an actual support system, because my Black friends, because once again, if you see me in photos, I am with Black people 9 times out of 10. Sometimes I'll be with other Latino people, but for the most part, it's Black and brown. It's never like one or the other. I have some white friends, but it's not like I'm out with them all the time. But it seems like he doesn't have that support system, because when we feel down, when we feel undesirable based on dating, because all of my friends like Black people. Everybody goes after Black people. So if they're turned down, we hype each other up. We're there to cushion the fall. We're there to remind them that you are beautiful. You have a lot to offer. You have a lot of personality that should be loved. I feel like that's what's also happening, because he's in a situation where he's targeting these people that do not want him due to anti-Blackness and him having unambiguous Black features. But he doesn't have anybody to sit down and tell him those features are beautiful. Because he said that, oh, I know I'm attractive, but later in the videos, he reemphasized, I'm trying to build my self-esteem up. I'm trying to remind myself of that. So I feel like he really needs that support network, if that makes sense. Because once again, I'm not one of those people that's like, you have to be with only Black people, because I understand that homotypes are very loud on the internet, but I don't understand the thought process of, I don't like people that look like me, but I expect you to. You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all understand what I mean. So I've always been, love is love. If you find somebody in this hard life to love you equally, reciprocate it, treat you right, you go there. But if you're doing this only to find a specific race that is not your own, and I hate the comparisons of, oh, I could love a blue person, a red person, or a purple person. That's not what we're talking about, babe. You're saying you don't like Black people. You got lit up online. You're trying to clarify it. I don't feel sorry for you. But I definitely want to hear your opinions down below, because this is a lengthy video. I wanted it to be quick. If I had more time, I would go more into detail with each thing that he said, but I'll leave the conversation up to y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Boom. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Arthur and Ronell AW II. Your continued support is greatly appreciated, and thank you once again to everyone who supports the channel. We're almost at 40K girlies! And this week's live stream conversation will be over who should adult content creators pander to, seeing as how your audience might be different from your own demographic and vice versa. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in.